Every few months, the same story appears in the news. A library removes a book, another library adds a book, parents protest, and activists protest the protest. Everyone calls it censorship, but there's a deeper problem hiding underneath it. If you pull money from people who don't share values and use it to curate culture, conflict isn't a glitch, it's the design. I'm Parker, and on today's episode of The Government is the Problem, we're taking a look at libraries, banned books, and why public funding guarantees culture war. Here's the core of the problem. Taxpayer funding, combined with contested values, leads to permanent friction. Culture reflects moral judgment, which isn't uniform. When the state curates culture, it forces people who have opposing worldviews to subsidize each other's standards. What follows is almost always conflict. And there is another structural reality that makes conflict unavoidable: scarcity. Space for books is finite, making selection unavoidable. Critics often argue that when a library refuses to include a book, that exclusion amounts to censorship. But follow that argument for a moment. Every book not chosen is excluded. If exclusion equals censorship, then every library is constantly censoring. I think we all agree that no serious person believes that, which means everyone already accepts the premise: libraries require standards, standards require judgment. The disagreement isn't about judgment existing, it's about who exercises it with public money. Now, if inclusion is treated as a right, then every viewpoint claims equal taxpayer funding. Follow that logic to its end. You reach conclusions almost no one is prepared to defend. That reveals the category error. This is not a free speech debate, it is a curation debate conducted with compulsory funding. With all of this arguing over libraries, I do have a question that hasn't been answered yet. If information is widely available, what exactly is taxpayer funding intended to solve? Today, most books are not scarce. Many are inexpensive. Many are downloadable. In fact, many are freely available online. Even without a personal device, library internet already provides access to vast digital catalogs. With all of that in mind, we arrive back at my question: are we trying to solve access or curation? If it's curation, we return to standards and conflict. Like many other issues, there are no solutions, only trade offs. If the government funds libraries, cultural conflict persists. If the government does not fund them, that specific conflict disappears. You may prefer libraries, you may judge them worth the friction, but you cannot have taxpayer funded culture curation and zero culture war. There is no structural path to library peace, only structure and consequence. So long as tax dollars pay for books, conflict will recur. Not because one side is malicious, not because speech has collapsed, but because compulsory funding combined with contested values produces friction. Conflict isn't a glitch, it's the design. This is Anvil Hammer Forge. Let's get to work.